Some games just happen, and some games leave a mark. Last night, the Cleveland Cavaliers and Orlando Magic delivered a battle that kept fans on edge from the very first possession. The energy was intense, the pace was relentless, and every quarter felt like a new story unfolding. One moment, it looked like Cleveland had everything under control. The next, Orlando flipped the script with unexpected runs and clutch plays. Stars stepped up, role players made their presence felt, and the crowd witnessed moments that could easily define the season. This wasn't just about scoring points, it was about momentum, pressure, and who could hold their nerve when it mattered most. If you thought you knew how this game would end, think again. Because what happened in the final stretch? That's where everything changed. From the opening tip, the Cleveland Cavaliers came out with purpose, setting the tone early with sharp ball movement and confident shooting. Their offense looked smooth, finding open looks and capitalizing on defensive gaps. On the other side, the Orlando Magic didn't panic. They absorbed the pressure and slowly built their rhythm. You could feel the tension rising as both teams traded buckets. Refusing to let the other pull away, Cleveland's early momentum was driven by quick transitions and disciplined defense, forcing Orlando into tough shots. But Orlando responded with resilience, tightening up defensively and pushing the pace when opportunities opened up. Every possession started to matter more, and the physicality on the court increased. Rebounds turned into battles, loose balls became crucial, and the crowd could sense this wasn't going to be a one-sided game. As the second quarter unfolded, the game shifted into a back-and-forth contest. Orlando found their groove, hitting key shots and closing the gap. Cleveland, however, stayed composed, relying on their structure and execution to maintain a slight edge. The lead kept changing hands, and neither team could create real separation. What stood out most was the intensity. This felt more like a playoff matchup than a regular season game. Both teams were locked in, making adjustments on the fly and responding to every run with one of their own. By halftime, it was clear this game was far from decided, and the second half was set up to deliver something special. Coming out of halftime, the Orlando Magic looked like a completely different team. Their energy jumped to another level, and they started applying serious pressure on both ends of the floor. Defensive stops turned into fast break opportunities, and suddenly, momentum began to swing in their favor. The Cleveland Cavaliers, who had controlled stretches of the first half, now found themselves being tested in ways they hadn't been before. Orlando's confidence grew with every possession. Shots that weren't falling earlier started dropping, and their ball movement created open looks that kept the defense guessing. Cleveland tried to slow things down, relying on their experience and composure. But Orlando's aggressive approach made it difficult to regain control. Every time Cleveland answered with a big play, Orlando responded right back, refusing to let the game slip away. As the fourth quarter approached, the intensity reached its peak. The score was tight, the margin for error was almost non-existent, and every decision carried weight. Cleveland leaned on execution, trying to create clean opportunities, while Orlando thrived in the chaos, using energy and hustle to keep the pressure on. Then came the final stretch, the moments that define games like this. Clutch shots, defensive stops, and high-pressure possessions took over. Both teams had chances to take control, but only one could close it out. And in those final seconds, when everything was on the line, the game delivered a finish that fans won't forget anytime soon. As the fourth quarter began, the game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Orlando Magic turned into a true test of composure. Every possession slowed down, and you could feel the pressure building with each passing second. Cleveland tried to regain control by executing their plays more carefully, looking for high-percentage shots and minimizing mistakes. Meanwhile, Orlando leaned into their momentum, continuing to push the pace and disrupt Cleveland's rhythm. The back-and-forth nature of the game only intensified. A big shot from Cleveland would be answered almost instantly by Orlando. Defensive stops became just as important as scoring, and both teams started making crucial plays on that end of the floor, contesting shots, forcing turnovers, and securing rebounds. Every small detail began to matter. What really stood out was how both teams handled the pressure. Cleveland relied on discipline and structure, trying to stay composed in the biggest moments. Orlando, on the other hand, played with fearless energy, attacking every opportunity as if it were the last. This contrast in styles made the game even more exciting to watch. As the clock continued to wind down, tension reached another level. The crowd was fully engaged, reacting to every shot, every call, and every possession. It felt like the kind of game where one mistake could change everything. And with the score still incredibly close, it became clear that the final moments would decide not just the winner, but how this game would be remembered. In the final minutes, the game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Orlando Magic reached its breaking point. This is where stars are tested and moments are made. Every possession carried weight, and there was no room left for hesitation. Cleveland looked to stay calm, focusing on execution and taking smart shots, while Orlando continued to bring relentless energy, refusing to back down. The intensity was unmatched. A single defensive stop could shift momentum, and one clutch shot could decide everything. Both teams had their chances, creating opportunities under immense pressure. You could see the urgency in every move, the quick passes, contested shots, the desperate rebounds, as the final seconds approached. It all came down to who could handle the moment better. One team managed to step up when it mattered most, making the key plays that separated them from their opponent. The other fought hard until the very end, but fell just short in a game that could have gone either way. When the buzzer finally sounded, it wasn't just the end of a game, it was the conclusion of an intense battle filled with effort, resilience, and unforgettable moments. This matchup proved one thing clearly: when these two teams meet, anything can happen. When the dust finally settled, the game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Orlando Magic left behind more than just a final score. It told a story of resilience, adjustments, and high-level competition. Both teams showed exactly why they're capable of competing at a high level, delivering a performance that kept fans locked in from start to finish. Cleveland displayed structure, patience, and moments of brilliance, especially during key stretches where their execution gave them control. On the other side, Orlando proved they are not a team to underestimate, bringing in energy, aggression, and the ability to respond under pressure. Their fight throughout the game kept things unpredictable and forced Cleveland to stay sharp every second. What made this matchup special was the balance. Neither team dominated for long, and every run was met with an answer. It was a game of momentum swings, where confidence could shift in an instant. These are the kinds of battles that build character and shape a team moving forward in the season. In the end, this wasn't just about who won or lost. It was about how both teams competed. And if this game is any indication, future matchups between these two are going to be just as intense, if not even better. If you enjoyed this intense showdown between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Orlando Magic, make sure you don't miss what's coming next. Games like this remind us why we love basketball: the energy, the drama, and those unforgettable moments that keep us coming back for more. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who impressed you the most? And what was your favorite moment of the game? And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest NBA highlights and breakdowns. More exciting matchups, more clutch moments, and more high-intensity games are on the way, so stay tuned. Because this season is only getting better from here.